This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
It's a Heidi Selexa Show, etc., etc. She's on air, flipping her hair everywhere, etc., etc.
Now just hang on. I am on Facebook, and I am looking at Cristhian Bahena. How do you say his last name or his middle name? Natalie Bahena Rivera.
I'm not sure.
He's the man who just killed Mollie. Okay, you know, this is okay. Now listen, if you go to the Facebook page, I know you're just tuning in the program. You're like, what is this broad doing? And just jumping right in. Well, this is exciting. He's got gun photos on his Facebook page. And then there's another photo. And then he has a little baby girl photo. And then when you go to the name, Natalie, should we say the name of the baby mama? No. Okay. So the baby mama apparently has Mollie friended on Facebook. And then he's friends, and her family. So, and he was 3 miles from her. He knew her. Natalie, has this come out in the press, or are we the first ones to release this? Natalie,
No, I just discovered it.
you just cut. So literally, this is what's going on. Nobody knows this. If you go to the Facebook page, okay, Cristhian Bahena, Bahena Rivera, Rivera. He's going to prison for the rest of his life. They don't do the death penalty there, but now they're trying to send him back to Mexico because he's an illegal immigrant. But he has gun photos on Facebook. Number one, more so than the fact that he's an illegal. More so, why do people put guns on Facebook? Natalie, these are rifles, Natalie. They're not just guns. That's a rifle. It's a rifle. Let me tell you something. Dangerous, right? Then he has, of course, the cute little baby photo of his little baby girl. And then it's the baby mama, and the baby mama knew Mollie. So let's get this right. He's connected with the baby mama. He knew Mollie. He knew Mollie. He watched her, and he said, for some reason, they don't know why he abducted her that day. Really? Did he leave her out there for 22 days? In the heat? And in the cornfields? What do you mean he blacked out? Was he drinking? And if he was, you don't black out for 22 days. Jeez. Ooh, Natalie, did you see that creepy photo of the drawing of him? Did you see that drawing of?
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, you did see that one?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so scroll down and look at it's like a ghost. It's really freaky. Like, see, this photo is not normal, even if somebody sketched it. His jaw, like they kind of like whited out part of the half of his face, like, you know, he's going to go away or something. But that, you know, I don't know. It just looks spooky, kind of like one of those people who has dark eyes. All right. So you look at him and you say, oh, he could be trouble. But he's, you know, you don't think he's capable of murdering somebody like Mollie. He says, oh, I just drove up behind her and jogged by her, and then she said she was going to call the police, so I got angry, and then I blacked out, and I woke up, and I realized, and I was in my car, and I woke up, I opened the trunk, and she was in there, and then there was blood on her head, so I just said, oh, well, I better just put her in the middle of a cornfield, and put cornfield things over her. And now the autopsy's going to take a while to come back, because, well, we don't know how long she was out there. There's two, there's probably lots of things going on there, which makes me sick to my stomach. Thank you, Natalie, for this. Facebook. Yes, okay, this is where Facebook can come in handy if it's used appropriately. So let me ask you a question. When I said last week, why are they not going to every single person connected to her on Facebook and looking into it? It's not brain surgery, and it doesn't take that much time. He doesn't have very many friends. He only has 38 likes. Okay? She doesn't have thousands and thousands of people on her Facebook or her social media either. She's not a media figure. She doesn't have that amount of people on her Facebook. So, you know, drew the law of the difference. So this is what you do. You say, okay, well, obviously, if she's connected with her family on Facebook, it's not them. All right? And most likely it's not one of her best girlfriends. And if it is, we'll just keep them aside. And it's not some guy that she knows well. Maybe it is that. Now, see, here's the thing. She was connected on Facebook with his baby mama. Whether or not that was his current love interest, whatever. Nobody knows. But it looks like he has a baby, or there's a baby girl. And bless her heart, she's just a little tiny baby. And she has no idea what her daddy did. But she does have his nose. So it's most likely his baby. All right? You look at this guy, he's, you have the farmer talking on the news right now, right? The farmer that employed him. So he filled out the proper paperwork, but yes, we knew he wasn't illegal. Did you know he had guns? Did you ever look at his Facebook and that he had photos of guns on his Facebook? Like really dangerous guns. Like that's an AK-47. One of them is, I think. And which is interesting because those guns, and this is the thing, with illegals, I mean, I'm not going in a political point of view, this is not a political show. But think about it. If you could scoot by in a place where, like, they can't get you because you don't have proper paperwork, you could say your name is Juan Don Lover, okay? And you just type it Luver on Facebook, all right? Then they say, we're looking for Juan Don Lover. And there's no proper paperwork on him. He goes for a job through the farmers, and the farmers say, yeah, we'd like to bring you in to clean the cow poo, which is what he did, apparently. And he had the same job every day since you're illegal, just fill out these paperwork or whatever. And they knew they were employing illegal. But what they don't know is not all illegals are dangerous. Okay, we're not going in that area. What we're saying is this person, and a male of that age, who's an illegal that has guns on his Facebook, is automatically dangerous. Period. Nobody should be putting guns on their Facebook. We'll be right back.
Heidi Selexa Show, etc., etc.
You want to call Heidi? Here's the number. 855-660-4261. She'll be right back.
Well, she's this and that, she'll make you laugh, etc., etc. Flipping her hair without a care, etc., etc.
If you're just tuning into the program, just did a little research myself on where is Mollie, what happened to Mollie Tibbetts, who is the Iowa State University college student, sophomore, who's a beautiful, lovely gal, a loving woman of God, and just in general, okay? So she just she disappeared on the 18th last month. Now listen to this. Everybody's like, well, we don't know who did it and where she is. I don't know why they didn't have the dogs out there first of all, the canine dogs. And we're going to have my pet expert on next hour to talk about canines and dogs and their noses. Even if you don't have a canine, you should have had them running out there in the middle of the cornfield for days. That's what they love. That's their job. Why wouldn't you want to let them do their job? Now, they're like, oh, we don't know who killed Mollie. We don't know who killed Mollie Tibbetts. And then finally, this illegal immigrant, Cristhian Bahena Rivera, comes forward, all right? He's an illegal immigrant from Mexico. Now, listen to this. Everybody said, well, we don't know the connection. Here's the connection. Do I and my producers have to do research on this ourselves? She is connected to his baby mama on Facebook. So listen to this. His name is Cristhian Rivera Bahena. Bahena, whatever. He's got guns on his Facebook, all right? Now, you go to a few photos over from the guns. It's the guns and then a photo of him, and then there's a little tiny precious baby girl, and it looks like his daughter. Then you click, and you see Iris's name. Iris is the baby mama. There's photos of him, her, and the baby. And then Iris is connected to Mollie Tibbetts. Now, and then recently it says that Iris is trying to connect with Mollie Tibbetts' family, who's Jake Tibbetts' ad, and Mollie Tibbetts doesn't have an ad, which means she's already connected to Iris on Facebook, and then Scott Tibbetts, and there's 1,330 friends. Now, Iris is probably going through hell. I don't know if she's an illegal immigrant, and this has nothing to do with Iris that I think of, but what's weird is that he knew Mollie, because he knew, how much do you want to bet? This guy has his own social media pages, all right? He's here in Iowa, with no papers. He's an illegal, but apparently the employer at the pig farm or whatever farm, corn farm or the cow farm or whatever they had in Iowa, said, oh, he had the same job every day, and it sounded like he just shoveled the cow manure or whatever he does. And then think about it. So he knows Iris. Iris is the baby mama. And then he's secretly saying, has this crush on Mollie because she's a beautiful girl, right? He knows her jogging route. He worked and lived 3 miles from where she was. She jogged that route all the time. People in Iowa who go to college, who are in their 20s, don't just friend anybody on Facebook, especially in a small town like that. As a matter of fact, his employer, who employed him as an illegal immigrant, said, oh, well, we all knew Mollie. Mollie was very loved and liked. He knew Mollie. Now, what we don't know right now is the autopsy report, which is to come out today. But it's going to take a while, apparently. Now, what we don't know is how long. And then he said, oh, I followed her. And then what happened was I went, hey, what's up, baby? And then he tried to jog alongside with her as if she needed a jogging partner. Okay? And then he got nasty and said, baby, and he really went to town. So maybe he was drinking. Because then she said, get away from me. I'm going to call the police. And she grabbed her phone. And then he said he got mad. And he just admitted this when they knocked on his door. He's like, yeah, I did. I think I did it. I blacked out. I don't know. But when I opened my trunk, she was in there. And then when I went to pick her up out, she had blood in her head. Her head was bleeding. But I blacked out. I don't remember. But then I just dragged her out to the cornfield and put the cornfield, few of the big cornfields over her and just laid her to rest. Really? Thank you for the blanket. Thank you for keeping me warm when it's 100 degrees. How long was she out there? And the thing is, she had her clothes on, so nobody, or some of the clothes, so we don't know if she was sexually assaulted yet. But you darn right she probably was. I hate to say it, but come on. Look at him and look at her. He was trying to hit on her, and it scared her enough to where I got mad when she said she was going to call the police. Really? What did you think she would say? She really should have had pepper spray. Really. If she had pepper spray and sprayed him in the face, imagine the difference between then and now. We have to buy pepper spray, girls. Even guys. And you don't go spraying it on anybody. My boyfriend goes, you're going to go get pepper spray and you're going to do what my daughter did, and that she tested it on me. It hurt like hell. But I just want to make sure the pepper spray is actually working and you know how it works. So go ahead and test me. That's love. He loves me to pieces. I'm lucky. Said I'm not running anymore at night. I used to run. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of running. I get why Mollie just like, I got to go running. Leave me alone. It's so peaceful. And it brings all those endorphins up. And it's just something you do every day that brings you peace. And it's what clears your mind and your life when you run and exercise. Every day gets a little better and a little better and a little better. And then it's something you just need. And it's your alone time. And to have that taken away from us. There's safety with that. We always have to run with our head turned sideways like we're looking over who's coming behind me. Yeah, you do now. She's out in the middle of, if you saw the road, it's a very peaceful looking road. I mean, it's lonely. It's a small, small town, which is why everybody knew Mollie. When I said last week, I have said everything before the investigator said it, everything I have said. I said, look, here's the thing. Canines, dogs, even dogs that are not canines. You think canines are the only smart dogs that have good noses? No. We have our animal expert, Carlene, coming up next to talk about it. No. Why didn't they have all of the canines and all of the dogs? People like loan your dog. If you put a scent on a dog's nose and they are trained, or even the service dogs, man, those dogs, they want to please us. They will look forever for Mollie. Why weren't there canines out there in the middle of the cornfields? She wasn't very far from where she was at. Because he just dragged her from the car of his trunk, apparently, and just put her in the cornfield to rest. Get the dogs. And then they go, oh, well, let's check the surveillance. I said, what did I say? On Tech Tuesday, the last 3 Tech Tuesdays, I said, surveillance cameras, technology. You can follow everything about us, but you can't find out when somebody is in danger. No, you're wrong. They can. Then they go, well, let's check out a surveillance camera from a neighbor. You see the guy pulling up beside her, jogging a line and taking her. Like, how much more do you want? Yeah, and then I'm saying, look, he knew her. Now I pull up the Facebook stuff. Nobody else has pulled that up first. Look, he's connected. He knows her somehow. And he has a baby girl. And somehow he thought, and that he may have left her out there for 20 days. Can you imagine? Or how many days has it been? It was July 18th. And what's today? August 22nd. I don't even want to... That poor girl. No, he's on a $5 million bail. And he can't leave the States. And no, Mexico does not get him back until we say so. We'll be right back. I'm Heidi Selexa. Watch out who you connect with on Facebook.
It's a Heidi Selexa Show, etc., etc.
Heidi needs a recess. Talk amongst yourselves. Heidi, where are you? Heidi, ho!
Well, she's this and that, she'll make you laugh, etc., etc. Within her hair, without a care, etc., etc.
If you're just tuning into the program, let's just get something right. Not all people who live in the United States who don't have papers are bad people, okay? Not all people who have papers and that are born in America are good people. So this has nothing to do with immigration, okay? But the person who killed Mollie Tibbetts, who has admitted to it, has come forward, who is now on $5 million bail and will spend his life in prison and maybe won't even be returned to Mexico, is an illegal, and he was working for a farm company. And bless the farmers, because if we didn't have farmers, we would have no food to eat. You know, so he was shoveling their doo-doo, and that's wonderful. Somebody needs to do it. But so he said that the owner of the farm had come forward on the news today and said, well, you know, he filled out all the paperwork. You know, he didn't. I never knew him out of business hours. I never knew him out of business hours. But, you know, he didn't seem to have any problem with people. But I didn't go out hanging out and drinking with him after work. He didn't have a problem. I didn't, you know, it's a horrible thing. It's shocking, right? It's shocking. But did you ever research your employee? And I cannot believe I'm saying this, because I remember when Facebook first came out and people were like, oh my God, make sure you're careful what you post on Facebook because it could prevent you from getting a job. I'm like, why the heck would that be? It's just for fun. It's just your friends and family or, you know, whatever. No, it's actually far deeper than that. And a lot of people use this as their 15 minutes of fame. Facebook has also created monsters and demons. Okay? Even though it can be used for good, but apparently we're so dumb we don't know how to use it for our benefit. If you looked thoroughly like me and my team, should just be PIs, okay? You would see when I kept saying, look on the social media and go to every single person that she's possibly connected with on all social media platforms. And then you do the process of elimination. You take it from there. She was connected on Facebook with the murderers, her killer's baby mama. Yes, he had an infant baby, a little baby girl, it looks like. If you go to his Facebook, and this is how simple we're doing research is, but people are lazy. I don't know why they didn't have the German Shepherds out there running and doing what their purpose in life is. And any dog, even stray dogs, have noses, and their noses are a lot better than ours. It's not just German Shepherds. German Shepherds are purebreds are better easily to understand certain type of commands and rules, which is why they're the canines. But all dogs, even the service dogs, even a mutt, they smell something. You send them out there in the wilderness, they're going to smell it. As soon as they find it, they're going to alert you. You are darn right they're going to tell you. They didn't send the canines out. You're looking in 5 different counties. She's right in front of your face. It's just disgusting. I don't know what to say about that. If there were no canines out there, I'd just, you know what, talk to my hand, because you're not our men, all right? You're not the man. You don't get to do that. How obvious is it? In the middle of the cornfields, that is miles and miles and miles and acres and acres and acres, just like Mexico, where there's miles and miles and miles and acres acres of sand. People from Mexico operate this way. Not everybody. I'm not saying that everybody. But if you saw the new movie Scarillo, whatever it's called, where they talk about the hitmen and they kidnap the head of the Mexican cartel's daughter, and they did it to get him to confess about the drug deals and the whole thing and take him down, and they were going to kill him, right? But the poor little daughter, she's 16. Maybe she was a little rich snot in school, but man, she changed. It's traumatized her. That girl will never recover, ever. And it was scary. They just blow your brains out and leave you there, if you're lucky. But this guy obviously cared about her enough to just drag her out in the middle of a cornfield and put, the cover of the cornfield plants over her. Now listen to this. In Mexico, I don't know about all other countries, they don't have time to bury you. They don't have the energy, and it's just put them out there. Nobody cares anyway. Very different laws in government. They operate differently. Illegals, the reason why some illegal aliens who are men, and I'm not saying some illegal women are scary, but some aren't. And not all illegal men are scary. But why are they illegal? Why are they afraid to get paperwork? Why are they say who they are? It's not difficult to get paperwork for illegal alien. If it is, just go work for an employer like this guy did and get your papers. Bertha came from Mexico. She's been our cleaning lady for 30 years since I was a little girl. And we got her a green card. And she's probably better. She pays her bills on time. She does things all accurately by the book, probably more than most Americans. But when she came here, she was illegal. My mom said she wouldn't tell me how she got here. I don't know, but I just know my mother said, I'm taking you under my wing. And, she's a lovely woman. She's a woman of God. She doesn't do casting spells with the witchcraft or the darkness of, the Hispanic culture. Some of the cultures, just like voodoo, and the New Orleans stuff. I mean, people can do that stuff, but they think they can. God, Lord, bless me with the white light of the Holy Ghost. I'm trying to make a point. Please don't let anyone do that, please. It's frightening to think what we're coming into. And this is where the reason why we're supposed to have laws of borders, just like it's not just illegals. If you watch the movie Scarillo, guess who comes over? The Middle Eastern people who have the Unabombers. Watch the movie. It'll scare the heck out of you. They cross the same border that the people from Mexico do. And they're far more dangerous. They've got bombs on them. And you see in the movie right away, they walk into a Walmart, a busy shopping store like a Walmart or a Kmart or something, and they just go charging in there, and before you know it, the entire building with all the people are blown up, and they have no look in their eye. It's just black eyes, darkness. This is why we're supposed to have borders. But this is not just about borders. This is not just about illegal. It's about a human being who's just dark. And it's also about why they didn't do the proper research. Then they said, well, and I kept saying, hey, check out the technology and security cameras. Hello? Somebody in that area, no matter how small of a town, why would they have cameras out there? Because it's prime bait for people to burglarize them and to harm them. All right? And for a police officer to get out there when it's in the middle of nowhere and it's a small town is not going to happen real fast. The first 2 to 3 hours of somebody being kidnapped or abducted and missing or raped is crucial. But the first 2 to 3 minutes of you calling 911 or a police officer is even far more crucial. I don't know why she couldn't hit 911. Here's what I think. I think the guy did probably somewhat of what he said. He said he drove up behind her, jogged beside her, and then said, well, he decided he liked her. And then she said, you're scaring me. Get away. I'm going to call the police. He didn't admit to knowing her, but yes, he did. You are darn right. He knew everybody that was connected to his baby mama's Facebook, and he knew Mollie. As a matter of fact, his employer said on TV right now that everybody knew Mollie Tibbetts in that town, and she was very well loved and liked. Well respected and liked. Everybody liked everybody knew Mollie Tibbetts because she was such a pretty young lady. So you're going to have this illegal immigrant who comes over, and I'm sure his baby mama without the makeup would be, relatively cute like Mollie. Mollie was very cute, and she was sweet. And she was like a desire for him. He watched everybody on his Facebook. If he wasn't married to her, he's not loyal to his baby mama, even if she had his baby. They don't care about that in some countries either. It's not like, let me try to make it work and be a good person. No. Even American men don't do that stuff. They just don't. Some men are just jerks. And some men just don't respect women even if they want the baby. He had a baby. So here's what happened. He drove up behind, well, I don't know. He could be lying about that. And then he said he jogged beside her. Who the heck would say that? That's just weird. And then in the middle of nowhere. So they were the only two people out there. And she's like, get away from me. I'm calling the police. And then he said he got mad and then blacked out. And then when he went home or somewhere, he opened the trunk up and saw her bleeding from the head. And then he decided to drag her out in the cornfield and just lay her there and put a few corn bushes over her. Because that's what they do in Mexico. They cover it up, but they don't bury you. Sometimes they bury you. Or maybe they cut you up. I don't know. I don't want to go. I don't want to know. But this is disgusting. Interesting thing is, everything I have said about this case is exactly what either has been done or should be done. Why were there not canines running out there in the middle of the cornfields having the time of their life? All you have to do is put plenty of water and food, say, go smell Mollie and go find her. They would have found her. She was literally 3 miles from where she lived. And he worked 3 miles from where she was. So he knew her. Everybody in that town knew everybody. Go look on the Facebook. You're going to go to my Facebook, Heidi Selexa Official, HeidISelexa Official. But we're going to come back and talk about what do you do? You find out the person you're seeing, dating, or had a baby with is actually psycho and a killer or dangerous. We'll be back with that. I'm Heidi Selexa.
It's a Heidi Selexa Show, etc., etc.
Heidi's been put in timeout. Call Heidi, 855-660-4261. She'll be right back. This is the Heidi Selexa Show.
Pepper spray. By the way, if you're testing your pepper spray, you don't want to test it in an environment where it's like the wall or something, just to make sure it sprays right. You want to make sure it's out in the open and you're not spraying anyone as a test. Unless, of course, like my boyfriend said, go ahead and test it on me. It's like, oh, okay. We haven't done that yet. But anyway, we need pepper spray. If you're just tuning into the program, we were talking about Mollie Tibbetts and how there's a link, and I just discovered this with my team that nobody is talking about, and I don't think they even know, that Mollie Tibbetts was connected on Facebook to the murderers, this Cristhian Bahena Rivera, whatever his name is, on Facebook, to his baby mama. Not only that, Mollie was added, but then her brother Jake and another Tibbetts. Let me see which one. Scott Tibbetts and Jake Tibbetts, it says there, add. So she knew them, or she was connecting with people who knew Mollie. And it was a small town, they knew Mollie. So my scenario is, he had a baby and a baby mama. What do you do if you find out the person that you are with or have a baby with is a dangerous person, a rapist, or a murderer?
Or from
I mean, think about it. What do you do? Well, first, you get out. But there's all kinds of report about this. If you notice the TV show where Nicole Kidman's in it with Reese Witherspoon, it's called Little Big Lies. And in there, Nicole Kidman's, her husband of her twin boys, is the one that's the murderer. Okay? So it's uncommon, I guess, but it is possible that you don't know who you marry or that you end up with. You can't just say, if it doesn't work out, oh, well, I'll just get divorced. The problem is, is you are also responsible, in a sense, I mean, not for the crimes he commits, but for how the heck you didn't know that the person that you have chosen to A, be with, or, well, A, be with, and B, have a baby with, is a hardcore criminal.
Out of the friend zone with Heidi Selexa.
And it frightens people. It's like, how do you really know someone? I was best friends, and still am, with a guy who has been with the same woman since he was 18 years old. And I always thought they had the best marriage. And he said to me one day, you don't know who you marry. Even if you're married to them for 20 or 30 years, you may not know them. And I thought, why is he saying this when they have a great marriage? Well, 10 years later, I find out at the time he had said that, she was having an affair on him. So no wonder why he was angry, and no wonder why he said that, because he thought I had known this woman and been with her since I was 18 years old. And why would she do this to me now? So that was his viewpoint of it. But sometimes people just lie. They lie to you about who they are. They lie to you about their intent. And sometimes you don't pay attention to your instincts, okay? We don't need numbers. We don't need me saying, oh, there's 52% of people who've married who feel like they don't know their husband, which is kind of a true fact. You got to look at yourself and realize, especially if you're having a baby with someone, and maybe it was a one-night stand or maybe it was an oopsies, but you're still responsible as the guardian and the parent of that child to take the best care of that child. And any child who grows up knowing their father did such a heinous crime could eventually be traumatized. So if you feel one little tiny, you know how you get that little instinct inside of you and you're like, it's just an instinctual thing and there's no facts. It's a DNLR. So here's what it is. Whenever you get an instinct, just use this term, DNLR. Does not look right. No, your instinct is right. But why are you having the instinct? You don't know. It just say, you know what? Something doesn't look right. Something doesn't feel right. That's all you have to say to yourself and other people. DNLR. That's a police term. That's an FBI term. It's a PI term. It's a term for anybody who are investigators and in the law enforcement. If you use the word DNLR, does not look right. That means that your instincts are alerting you to something. Now, Mollie had instincts. Okay, Mollie said, "Back off! I'm gonna call the police." And then for some reason, when she said that, he said he got angry and then he blacked out. No, here's probably what happened. He grabbed her, rolled around with her, got the phone away from her or something, and then whatever else happened. And I don't know that we're ever going to know. But I think we will. It's just the autopsy's taken a while. But with the baby mama and people who get involved with somebody who's dangerous, when you get that little tiny instinct, or they even get physical with you one time, and I'm talking about even shoving you, or laying their hands on you in a negative way. If you don't do something to put your boundary up, they're going to continue doing it, and all it does is escalate. Okay? Then from there, it goes worse. Most of the time, people who go to serious crimes like this, who have been physical with somebody that they have been involved with in a romantic level or whatever, just because he had a baby with this woman and it's his baby mama and he's maybe lives with her, or, you know, it's a young baby, so it's probably relatively new. It doesn't mean he respects her. It doesn't mean he loves her. And it doesn't mean that he hasn't been fantasizing about other women, or especially somebody who looks like Mollie. But I wonder if this Iris gal, the baby mama, ever had any experience with him of violence or some kind of an instinct that said the guy goes dark. When the guy goes dark, and maybe that's what he calls a blackout, that means danger zone. But you can see and sense it before. You don't want to admit it to yourself because nobody wants to admit it. Come on, you think Nicole Kidman in the show in Little Big Lies, and that's not the only scenario. We know TV shows and films aren't always real, but guess what? A lot of the time they're based off true facts. You think they want to admit that their husband is a rapist and a murderer, and not just a rapist and a murderer, but really severe? No. But you have to pay attention to your instincts. You have to get out. You have to get away from them. And it doesn't matter what kind of manipulation. It doesn't matter what kind of threats. Because guess what? If they threatened you, because you want to go away, guess what happens when you stay in that relationship and they know you wanted to get away? Why do you think Forensic Files is such a popular TV show? And it's always about a wife or spouse or somebody in a love relationship who is the one responsible, and it's for money. However, this wasn't for money. This man from Mexico, who was an illegal, was not about money. He fancied Mollie. And he thought he could go. He knew where she ran. It was by where they lived. And he followed her, and he got her in the middle when nobody was around. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but when you feel that instinct and you're in a relationship, just do this. He's not the only person. There's 6 billion other people out there in the world. Somebody else will love you, and you need to protect yourself. Get away from him. Let him go find something else to beat up, okay? Because men can be dangerous, and so can women. We'll be right back. I'm Heidi Selexa.
It's a Heidi Selexa Show, etc., etc.
Heidi needs a recess. Talk amongst yourselves. It's 4:20 somewhere.